Alrighty guys, we are back. Board Bob here. We got our all of our uranium patches tapped into, and we've got it coming in. So today we are going to build our reactor, and we're going to build our power plant. Of course, that means we also have to do our ore processing and things like that. So the first thing we want to do, let's go ahead and start building our pieces parts. So we are going to first need. We know we need a reactor. Okay, so a reactor is 500 concrete, 500 steel, 500 red circuits, and 500 copper plates. All right, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 4, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? There we go. So let's dump this all in there. There we go. So now we got our reactor. You know what? Let's make a second one just to have two. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So throw this in. And that will give us 2 reactors. Reason I'm going to go ahead and do 2 now. We could get away with 1, but we'd still be running some of our steam engines, I think. So if I do 2, we can eliminate some of that. So now we're going to need heat exchangers, and we're going to do 4 per, so that's 8 if we can do it. We're going to need pipe, we're going to need copper, and we're going to need steel. So let's grab all the steel, all the copper, all the pipe. Right? There we go. Alright, so we need how much? We need 10 steel plates, so we said we're going to do 8, so we want 80 steel plates, right? Oops, sorry. You know what? Alright, so there we go. So now we can just dump the other stuff in there and just have it regulate it for us, right? 7 and 8. Alright, so now we're also going to need steam turbines. So if we've got 8 heat exchangers, we can support 2 per. So that means we can do 16 turbines, theoretically. So we want to grab our gears. And grab our gears here. So we got that set up. Nope, we didn't. Where is it? There it is. Alright, so dump that in. Dump the pipes in. Dump the gears in. So there's 2, 4, 6, or 5, 6, 8. 10. There's 12. 14 and 16, right? So we got 10 and 6 is 16. Alright, there we go. So now what else do we need? We need to be able to process our ore. So in order to do that, we need centrifuges. Now each centrifuge is 100 concrete. I'm going to make as many as I can. So for right now, let's do this. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What else do we need? We need steel, we got that. We need gears, we got that. We need red circuits. Alright, so let's see what we can do with this. So we'll dump as many gears in as we can, as many red circuits in as we can, as much steel in as we can, and we'll go 1. So that should give us 2, right? No, it gives us 1. 2. Alright, yeah, that's right, because they're 100 apiece. So there's 2, 3, looks like we are out of gears. We need some more gears. Okay, not a problem. Gears are easy enough. We will plop this down here, and we will grab a bunch of this plate out of here. There we go. That should give us plenty. Ooh, let's research too while we're at it. So we don't need the yellow yet high-tech science packs, but it would be nice to start building them up so that eventually we can get this Covarex enrichment process, so that we can start converting a lot of our waste, well, not waste, but yeah, unusable uranium into usable uranium. So let's go ahead and research that. We're nowhere close to getting this. I mean, it's going to take 1,500 of each, but let's at least get the research. That's going to give us blue circuits and things like that. So might as well. There's no sense sitting here doing nothing whilst we are getting ready to go do this. So let's see. So we want gears. Lots and lots of gears. And I know I'm making a bunch over there, but you know what? That's okay. I don't want to walk all the way over there. We can just grab them from here and throw them in. How many we need? Okay, we need 100 for each one. So maybe we'll sit down a second factory. Let's sit down a second factory if we've got room. Yeah, we got room. We'll have this one make gears as well. That way we're not here all day waiting on these. So that's 4. So this will be, when we get enough, it'll be 5. Like I say, I'd like to do at least 10. Is what I'd like to, the point I'd like to reach is to be able to do at least 10 of these. We may have to go back and get some more plates at this rate. If we gotta go back and get more plates, I may just go get more gears. I may just pull them off the line. I know they're coming in somewhere. We may just grab a bunch. So there's 5. And circuits. And 6. We're going to be building more of these when we get the Covarex process going, because we'll use them to convert our waste into usable. Once we get that going, we will have a nice supply of uranium. We'll be able to start making bombs and whatnot as well, which will be kind of nice, because it's definitely, what the heck? No, gears, how'd that change? I think I hit the shift key and clicked on it, and the last thing I had it making, I think, was, yep, that's what I thought. Okay, so the last thing I had it making apparently was engines. So there's an interesting little tidbit for you. It saves the whatever your last settings were as far as your shift left click, shift right click, shift left click, to copy and paste your settings. So there's something good to know. Let's see, so that's 8. Looks like we are out of red circuits as well. So we're going to want to grab some red circuits. We're going to definitely want to grab some more. Oh, there we go. Let's get back to. So we want red circuits and we want gears. Let's go grab a bunch of red circuits and a bunch of gears, shall we? Just get this done the easy way. No sense sitting around waiting on it. What's that give us? That gives us 160. There was 200. I think it's 150. Alright, that should give us enough of each. Sorry about that, folks. I thought I had it all, had enough of everything for what I wanted to do. Apparently I didn't. You know, best laid plans of mice and men, I suppose. Alright, so there's 9. And that'll give us 10. Plenty. Alright. So there we go. So now we got everything we need for what we had planned to do. Let's go ahead and pick these 2 chests up. As you can see, I moved this out of the way and moved it down here, so we're good. Pick that one up too. I was making some steel, some steel chests. Alright. Oh man, excuse me. So here we go. So we get all of this coming in. So now what we want to do is we want to process it. We want to turn it into usable fuel. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inserter 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. And there are lots of different configurations you can do for this. This is kind of the way I was doing it the last time I did this. One of the things you're going to get, oh, there we go, there's another one. With this is that you're going to get a lot of uranium-238. You can see the percentages there. You don't get a whole lot of 235. You get a bunch of 238. So we're going to have a way of separating them out. We're going to have a way of storing a whole crap ton of 235 or 238 rather, excuse me. So, whoa, that was weird. Alright, so let's see. And we want to come across here. And down to here. And splitter. And then this. Now, the problem is it's going to spit both of them out onto this, but we don't want both of them in the same place because you're going to get so much more of one than you are the other, and it's going to really foul the works up. So what we're going to do is we're going to make some filter inserters. So for filter inserters, we need fast inserters. Did I have green circuits with me? I bet I don't have any green circuits with me. Figures. So let's go over here and grab some green circuits. Come on. They aren't that far away. They're over here. So I'll just go over here and grab some. That's more than enough. All right, so we're gonna make ourselves some filter inserters, so that we can split this stuff out. We don't need many. I'm only gonna make like 6. 6 I think should be plenty for what we want to do. Gotta go around this because there's no gap. Need walking music. Darth Vader had walking music. I need walking music. Alright, so first thing we need to do is we need to make fast inserters. So fast inserters require regular inserters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know what? Let's make 8. That way we have them. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Okay, well that's alright. We have to do that anyway. One of the things we're going to need is we are going to need iron plates for fuel. So let's put one there and one there. Oops, I thought. Yeah, there. Okay. Doot, doot, doot. Alright, so there's that. There's that. There we go. Alright. Throw down a pole. Alright, so there we go. So now we got some iron plates coming out. We'll just steal them and use them over here. How many do we need? Alright, we need a few more. So like I say, we're going to need those the iron plates to make fuel anyway. So whilst we're here, we might as well just go ahead and get that part of it set up. So filter inserters, we need fast inserters, and we need green circuits. Well, we just built the fast inserters, and there's the green circuits. So there we go. Alright. So here's what I want to do. I want to have this side short by 1. Take out my junk ore, or my yeah. There we go. And then I want that to do that. So these are going to go. Yeah, and then we want to do. Yeah, we want to do this. And then we want to do this. Okay, so that's going to bring them all down to the end of each of these belts. So now we want to steel chest. Let's see, here, 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 here. Now why I'm doing this on this side with so many is because I know it's going to make a metric crap ton of these things. Now this side I'm going to do similar. I'm just not going to do as many. We don't need as many. I just wanted to have some room in case. Alright, there's that. And like I say, these will fill up quick on this side. Guarantee it. Alright, is that all of them connected? That's all of them connected. So let's go ahead and get this party started. And here, and here, and there, and there, and there, and there. Right? Now we just need, ooh, and we missed the middle ones. Figures. Alright. We can solve that real easy. So we make little poles for. Right? So now we just got to tell it what to make. So we're going to tell it process uranium. And that'll get us started on that. Then we got to go down and tell those filter inserters what to filter. Right? So on this side we want uranium-235. Like I say, there's barely going to be any of it, but on this side we're going to see a lot of uranium-238. Alright, because it's like part of 1% or something like that. I think it's for like, you know, every 100 you have a 1% chance maybe of getting it. So they're going to start coming in here. They're going to start filling this up. Once we get one pop over here, it'll come over here. And look, we got glow-in-the-dark stuff. Cool beans. Alright, so now what are we going to do with it? Well, we are going to turn it into fuel, right? So let's do this. Let's put this down here. Let's put it you know what, let's put it there. This weird thing about putting things in the center, putting my inserters in the center. I don't know why. Just I'm weird that way, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so there's that. So this belt is going to come over from here. I'm going to come from this last chest that we put down on this side and pull out of here, right? And that'll come over and put into here. That'll come in to put into here. And then we need our iron to come down right here. Boom. And that will give us fuel. Right? Right. There we go. So now we've got the whole process set up all the way up to making fuel. Uranium fuel cell. And for that we're going to need it's 10 238s and 1 235. So that's not too bad considering the fact that we hardly get any out of this. And that's going to give us 10 fuel cells each time. So that's pretty darn good. So now what we need to do is we need to set up our power plant. So for spacing reasons, I'm going to start with my turbines. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? Now one thing with these, unlike the generators over here, or unlike the way it used to be, these will only go 2 deep. You go more than 2 deep and you got a problem. It won't provide enough steam and one of them will shut off. So there we go, there's that. Now we want our heat exchangers. The reason I put a pipe in there is so that I have room to put in a power pole so that we can make sure everything is hooked up to the power poles. So we want a power pole on each end of these. Oops, now I'm stuck. There we go. And power pole on this side for each of them to make sure they're tied into the systems. Make sure these are tied into the system, right? So everything's got power. There we go. So now what we need is we need our reactors. So we're going to do 2 reactors, right? And they get a bonus for sitting next to one another. Now what that bonus is, I'm not exactly sure. I did find an article on it that I have to read up on a little more. So we'll be doing some reading up on that. So, but we want to be able to connect all of them. So we want to leave one space so that we can run heat lines out there. Oh, that is the other thing we didn't build. And I think I have. Do I have enough copper? We'll see if we got enough copper or not. All right, let's see. Doom, badoom. Sit this down. We want heat pipes, and we want that, and we want that. How many is that going to give us? That's only going to give us 5. Let's go grab one more pile of copper. Or, you know what? Let's grab a couple of piles of copper. God knows I don't want to have to run over there a second time. Wow, we're just blowing through that research, aren't we? That's not a bad thing. I'm not complaining about that one bit. It's funny to be blowing through it that quickly. All right. So let's grab 2 stacks. I really don't want to end up short. We're gonna have to pause our research here soon. We're not going to be able to make enough. We'll be running low on materials, and we won't be able to do any research. So we may have to give our labs a bit of a break. We will see. Almost. There we go. Okay, good enough. Let's go over here. Man, we're tearing through the research. Of course, that also means we're tearing through our raw materials. So, you know, trade-offs, right? All right, let's see if that's enough. So, we're going to start here, and we want to run it all the way up. Oops. Nope, almost. So we need 10 more. Which means we're going to need another pile of copper. Are you kidding me? Alright, fine. Well, you know. We're getting our exercise. Let's, you know, look at the bright side of things, right? Of course, this time we know we only need 1 pile, so, or 1 stack. Stack, pile, you know, whatever you care to call it. Alright, good enough, plenty. Nice thing is, by the time we get this all set up, we should have produced at least 1 batch of fuel. So, there we go. We'll just turn it all into them. Alrighty. There we go. So everybody's hooked up. So now we're going to need to bring fuel into these guys, right? So, gazintas. And we're going to need to take fuel out of these guys. Now, I'm not too worried about speed for taking it out. So, long-handed inserters will be just fine. Yeah. Almost getting annoying. Alright, so there we go. Let's see. There we go, fuel. And we are in business almost. We need to pull down here. And we need to tie it in. And we'll just tie it in right there for now. Alright, so now these will start warming up and start burning. Oh, no they won't. We need one more thing, don't we? We need water. We need water. Can't make steam without water, right guys? So we need agua. Alright. Where's our pump? There's our pump. There's our pipe. 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 Oops. Pipe. Go away. And pipe. Right? Did that give us water all the way down here? Let's see. Water. 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 Right? So that's connected to there. That's connected to there. Oh, did we didn't go far. We went too far, I guess, huh? Alright, fine. Man. There, now we got water down there. Alright, so now these should start warming up. We're up to 260 degrees Celsius already. So as these warm up, and I think they get up to like 500 degrees Celsius or something like that, we'll see these start to crank up. In the meantime, alright, it's using up fuel, but it's pretty fuel efficient in comparison to what we're looking at over here with our steam engines. I mean, look how fast we're going through coal. You know, so we just really burn through the coal. Whereas this, you know, we're barely plodding along. And if you consider the fact that this is still warming up, that's pretty darn good. And just this little bit of plant will replace and then some all of this. So, you know, there you go. Talk about your efficiency. There it is right there. The only downside that we have right now is we are very limited on the amount of uranium we have. We have 13K here, we have 22K here, and we have 17K here, and that's just ore, and it's not a one-for-one for this. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this. I probably will not completely eliminate my my steam engines until I get a more reliable source of uranium. But for the meantime, we can probably cut out at least half of these, which is going to cut way down on our pollution. Now, we are also going to get a whole lot of waste fuel. So, we're going to have to start storing that for now as well. There we go. There it comes. So, for now, we're just going to go ahead and store it in chests. And when the time comes, we will convert it back into fuel. But for now, we'll just store it up. We'll just keep an eye, make sure we're not running out of room. and that'll get us going. So there we go, guys. We have nuclear power. And look at that. There we go. Yeah, 600, 900, or 690 degrees Celsius almost. Let's look what our power is. So right now, those 8 turbines are producing more than the 80 steam engines that we had before. So that kind of gives you an idea of just how powerful they are. So what we can do, like I say, I'm not going to tear them completely out of the system right now, but I'm going to shut them down. And the easiest way to do that without tearing them out of the system is just turn the water off. So we're going to kill the water to, well, we can't kill the water to this one because that's also feeding our concrete, and we want to keep building our concrete. So unless we want to jump her out of here, but we can kill this one, right? And that's going to kill that whole plant because the water's, as you see, the water's going to go down, and they ain't going to have steam, so that one will shut down. Now for this, how do we want to do this? Because we want to go ahead and kill our steam for now. You know what we can do? Well, no. We will, what we'll do is we will kill our input, our steam input into, no we won't, because that's in the wrong place as well. Well, crapski, guys. Because the only way to do that would be to move that down. We don't want to move that down. You know what? We'll just leave this here. We'll leave this one alone for now. What we may do is here's what we can do. We can just take these away. Or not even take them away. We'll just turn them off. We'll just turn them off. Well, not really turn them off, but turn them in the other direction so they can't feed it. They will run out of coal. After they run out of coal, no more steam, they shut down. Right? So that kills that one. So let's kill this one. So we take the steam and take the water away from here. And the water away from here, and the water away from here. And there we go. That whole section, all of those are now going to shut down. Now this one will take a little bit to shut down, and it's going to give us the flashy, flashy, flashy. I don't care. So let's see how we're doing though. So we'll watch as these go down. What do we got going here? Oh, look, we're already starting to run low on our input for our ore, but that's okay. As things start to back up, we'll be all right, and we'll find more ore. We'll find more, but that's why I don't want to completely disassemble these yet until I know that I have a real good source of ore. But if you look, we're still on 5 cells in here. And we're all the way up even with this, so we'll keep an eye on it and see where it's going. But yeah, that is going to make a huge dent in our pollution production. We've already eliminated these. Now let's see if we can actually eliminate all of these, shall we? So we kill it on that end. We go down here, and we kill it on that end. And that should, in theory, completely kill our steam engines. Now let's watch and see if it does. Oh yeah, our steam's going down. So very soon we won't have any steam engines at all. Boom, there we go. All the steam engines are shut down at this point. And let's see how our power's doing. Alright, so we are not drawing any power off of our accumulators whatsoever. And look at our production versus our satisfaction. We are sitting pretty, folks. In fact, when the lasers are firing, it looks like we're not even reaching peak when they're firing. So we're really not even pulling anything from the accumulators. So there we go. And that is going to theoretically really kind of reduce our pollution footprint quite a bit, because I mean that was where a lot of our pollution was coming from. Excuse me. Looks like everything is still hooked up, so we're good to go. Now, like I say, we're going to have to start looking for other sources of uranium. Now we've got 494K here, 195K here, 28K here. This is going to be the easy one to go after next. You know, and that's comparable to these. These bigger ones, now we're starting to get into some of the larger ones. So we got one here, and we got one here that we can reach fairly easily. I think there's one here. So we've got a few sources right in here that are close that we can start expanding to. And then we'll go down here and we'll look at getting this one, and we'll go up here and look at getting this one. And those we're going to start hauling in by train. Now we're getting to the point where it's going to be ridiculous to pull lines that far out. We're still going to try and wall some of this stuff off. We're going to see if we can find some natural boundaries, because we really kind of need them. Let's see what's doing here. Yeah, this corner really getting chewed up. I put some extra ones in here. Doesn't seem to have done a whole lot of good. This corner, definitely we need to come down and square this off, and get rid of all these extra biters in here, because all of this is just hitting right on this corner, and mostly because that's where our crude oil production is. So they're really kind of coming after that. So yeah, but for the most part, we are now on nuclear power. Now, yeah, this is going down a little bit. This is why we want to keep an eye on it, because it is using the fuel, and we're not getting a whole lot of ore in, which means we're not getting a whole lot of usable ore out. But I think we'll be okay for the time being, and we'll go from there. We'll just have to keep an eye on it. And if this really starts getting low, we'll have to turn these back on. In the meantime, excuse me, we're going to work towards getting those other ore patches. And speaking of ore patches, the other thing we're going to go ahead and hook up real quick this time around is this ore patch up here, because that's a million 300,000 units of ore. That's a lot. And then we got this one down here. So, and this one we've already got stuff run down to it mostly. So we're gonna pick these up real quick and just belt them over into this system, just so that we have them. And I think that's going to do it for us for the day. But I want to go ahead and get that out of the way, because again, it's all about resources. So let me grab some belts. I'd hate to go over there and find out I don't have enough, you know. So let me grab a bunch of belts here. Pretty sure I have enough mines. Let's see. Do I have enough mines? I got 45. It's going to be close, but you know, it'll be the majority of it. Whoops. Maybe we'll grab a couple more just to be safe. Where's our mines? There's our mines. Let's grab a few more just to be safe. We don't want to pick up these engines though. That should be more than enough. Alright, so let's go up here and get this hooked up, and get that knocked out. So like I say, the next thing we're going to look at doing is grabbing up those other small patches of uranium. In all likelihood, I will go ahead and clear out the biters around them off camera, and I'll just get them hooked up. I mean, you guys know what I'm gonna do. We're gonna grab those spots and hook them into the system. And it's not gonna. I mean, there's not a lot in any of those 3 patches, but it's certainly going to be enough to keep us in the nuclear power business for for a little while at least. And that's kind of what this game's all about. You're always scrambling to get more. It seems. So there you go. If you like the resource management thing, if you like all the organization stuff, then this is kind of one of those games for you. If you hate that kind of thing, if you're one of these first-person shooter game people, there's nothing wrong with that. I like them myself, but this may or may not be the game for you. I kind of like both. I'm a fan of empire building games. I'm a fan of construction games and what have you. I'm also kind of a big fan of dystopian future kind of ideas. So this kind of hits for me on a lot of cylinders, and that's really kind of why I like it. But again, like I say, it's not necessarily the game for everybody. But if you like it, man, it's a great game. I really like it. I've been playing it now for a fair amount of time. I looked the other day. I'm trying to think of how many hours I actually have on this game. I think it's like 800 and some odd hours on it, which I mean is by no means as much as some people have. There are people who have considerably more than that on this game. On the other hand, another game that I like to play is 7 Days to Die. It's another alpha game. It's in development, but I have in the neighborhood of 3,000 hours on that game at this point. The last time I looked, it was 3,086 hours, I think. So you could say I play it a little bit. Let's see. Usually don't like to overlap, but why not, right? Might as well. There we go. Okay, so now let's run our belts. We're gonna have to move some of those poles around, but let's get our belts run first. Alright, let's move this one. This is a pain in the ass. There we go. And there's another one of them. Alright, let's see. I went one too far on that one. And one more here. Ooh, we don't want to leave that one for too long, do we? There we go. Alright, so now let's hook up our power inside here. Alright. So this patch ought to last us for a little while, I would say. you know what? We don't want to do that. And I'll tell you why in a second. Let me fix this first, and then I'll tell you why I don't want to do that. So, my friend Joe Mama and I were having a discussion the other day, and I guess somebody had commented on one of his videos about splitters, and why did he use splitters on everything as opposed to just butting things up. And his reasoning behind it I agree with 100%, even though you'll notice that a lot of times I don't use splitters when I'm setting up my mining operations. I usually just butt things together. But the reason that he uses splitters is there are times when it's critical for your throughput to be maximized, to be as much as you can have it. And if you just butt things together, like for instance, if I butt together here and I have something else coming in here, what can happen is you're only feeding this side of this belt, or you're only feeding this side of this belt. Now, if you're feeding the same resource is going to be completely filling this belt, and you're only feeding one side of the belt, you got a problem, because this is going to back up and this is going to have nothing on it. So then you're going to have to turn around and put balancers in. So you're better off to feed with a splitter, because it's going to divide it equally onto both sides and feed the whole line. So you're going to get better compression, which ultimately is going to help your feed through for your throughput on your production. Now, there are times when it doesn't matter, and then of course there are times when you want to only feed one side of the belt, obviously, because you're feeding something on the other side. But in his particular situation, because of what he is doing and where he is at in his game, he is desperate for not desperate for resources, but desperate for production. What I mean by that is he's got the resources on the map that he's doing right now, and I'll throw a link to his videos again onto this video so that you can see. But he's got plenty of resources because of the way he set his map up. So that's not the problem for him. The problem is production for those resources, because he's got so much stuff going on that his throughput right now is very critical. So that's why he's using splitters for damn near everything. And I cannot disagree with his reasoning behind that. It makes perfect sense to me. And were circumstances different in what I'm doing, I would probably be doing the same. But generally speaking, for a couple of reasons, habit being one of them, I usually end up butt splicing my lines together in my system, and for me it works. I am by no means an expert on ratios and efficiencies, and I don't claim to be, and I don't want to be. I mean, yes, I'd like to get better at it. And one of these times I'm going to sit down and maybe try to play a game of this to where I do a better job of that. But the truth is, I don't have the time sometimes. I have other things to do. I have a life, and I just want the fun of playing it. So I don't necessarily get wigged out about all the ratio stuff. That some people, man, that's that trips their trigger. That's what they're in it for, and I like it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not that anal retentive about it. Not all the time. Um, so if that's your thing, great. Um, this is definitely the game for you. If it's not your thing, you know what? You can get away with being sloppy like me. I mean, it's just a matter of how you set your resources up. Now he's got his set up with very high amounts of resources because he's doing a learning series now, and he's trying to concentrate more on how things work and why they work. And the last thing he needs to worry about right now is how do I get resources? How do I do this? Those are obvious. He doesn't need to have to spend all his time searching for resources. So it just made sense for him to set it up with an abundance of resources that he can just tap from wherever he has to tap from them from. And for his game, that works. When I set this up, I didn't really set it up that way. I just used the standard default setup, and I think in some regards it's coming back to bite me in the ass. But you know what? I haven't decided yet if we are going to continue past getting a rocket. If we're going to continue getting past getting a rocket, then maybe it will bite me in the ass. But if all we're doing is we're shooting for that achievement, and the rocket is the end game state for that achievement, we may not have to worry about it, so long as we keep our resources to where we can continue to get what we need. In which case, great. But I haven't decided. That's something down the road when we get a little closer. I'll definitely start thinking about. Love to hear you guys' thoughts on that. If you guys want me to continue with this one, or you'd like to see me start another one where I'm better able to craft things simply by virtue of the fact that I'm not limited to not crafting in hand. And if I do that, what I probably will do is I will do a series specifically set up for trains. There is a setting in the configuration for the game for trains where it does an abundance of resources as you go further out, but they are spaced further apart. There's more resources in a patch, but the patches are spread further apart. The point of it being to encourage you to use trains. And the other thing with it is it's set so that the biters don't respawn bases after you've eliminated them. So when you clear a spot, you've cleared it, and then the trains, then you're setting up trains. So that I'm debating on whether to play that way or whether to go ahead and continue through with this one. So let me know what you guys think on that one too. I'd be interested to know where you guys stand on that. I'd kind of like to. I'm kind of leaning towards doing the train thing. I really kind of like that idea. So we're staying steady here. Like I say, we're not getting a whole lot of ore in, which is kind of what's hurting us because the percentage is so small. But I'm going to go ahead off camera and grab those other small ore patches. But the big thing, and I'm going to go do some cleanup and some maintenance. But the big thing is we've got nuclear power, folks, and we've killed off all of our power plants. I don't know if we're going to see a big change in pollution. We'll see. But potentially, I would think that that would help reduce our pollution at least a certain amount. Oh, and the other thing we did, and I didn't mention it, is if you look right down here, we now have assembly machine 3s. So I can go ahead and make some more, some more refineries, and we can get our fluid system set up. So that may very well be what we do the next time around. Is set up our permanent fluid handling system, and we'll go from there. All right, guys. So hope you guys got something out of this. I know the only real major thing we did was to do the nuclear power, but at least we have it now, and we'll go from there. So all right, you guys, if you like the videos, like, subscribe, you know, uh, tell your friends, tell your family, tell them to share and force them to watch it, whatever. All right, you guys have a good day. Bye.